Hello and welcome to the Little Bricks podcast with myself, Lee Flanagan. Today we've got a real treat. A really good friend of mine, someone that's very well known. I've known him for a number of years. He's a real gentleman, and I'm really excited to see what makes his mind tick, what his drive is, how he keeps on going and spinning so many plates and projects like he does, and just what his beliefs are. So please welcome Mr. Leon Scott. Hi, mate.
Hiya, mate. You okay?
I'm very, very well, thanks. You?
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's an absolute honour to have you, mate. I know the people who listen to this won't see that we've been going around the houses for an hour now trying to get this link to work and whatever else. So thank you for your patience.
No problem, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, good. So how's things?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Going well. Doing what we can while we can under the circumstances. So I'm healthy. I'm living. I can't complain, mate.
God bless. God bless. So for those who don't know Leon, and I'm sure most will, because of your career choices and what you've achieved so far, which is amazing. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please, mate.
Yeah, right. Where do we go from? So a little bit about my background, mate. I would like to go as far as back as, as it still is. Every day is a working day, but the day as far as I'd say 7-8 years ago, my main role of what I learned a lot about myself and what I believe I learned a lot about other individuals was supporting young adults who are autistic and Down syndrome and challenging behaviour. Within the Teesside area, this was to the day I'd say probably one of my best jobs, if not my best jobs. This role helped me identify a lot about myself. Little things is taking the little things for granted maybe sometimes, but yeah, so I used to support young adults and Down syndromes, which was really challenging but really rewarding at the same time, mate. On the back of that, I played football for Darlington Football Club. Was my most successful part of my career, where I was captain there. We managed to win 3 promotions. So then with good times at Darlington, 6 years at Darlington, while I was also trying to juggle a modelling career. The modelling came from the back of football. I was approached by a guy who owned a brand, which a brand is well known now. The likes of Ronaldo and Messi wear this brand, the brand being Six Silk. I guess he thought I was good looking and he believed that I was the right face for his brand at the time. From the back of that, my modelling career sort of took off. A little bit unexpected. I knew, I had a bit about myself, but it's not what I really thought where it would go. I was very fortunate and lucky to travel the world while still trying to juggle my football career and my full-time job supporting young adults. So yeah, I had a lot going on really, as well as my fitness. I was really into my fitness. I needed to stay fit for football. I needed to stay the right shape for my modelling. So there was a lot going on, but unfortunately, one of them had to give. It was probably the hardest decisions that I had to make, just simply because my performance within supporting the young adults was dipping. It wasn't to the standard I would have liked. I was moody. I was, and I wanted to deliver that best performance to them. So I had to stop that. And then my modelling career really took off from there. That went in full time. I was in LA, I was in New York. I was on the road a lot from a young boy from South Bank at a council estate, walking around New York while getting paid. It was mind blowing, and rubbing shoulders with people the likes of Conor McGregor and these type of people. Still to this day, I've got images and pictures now with him, and I'm just like, it's bizarre, It's not something that would happen that I see around my local area of young lads walking around. So hopefully I can inspire people to do the same. And, your background's not all that. It's how you apply yourself and what you believe and what you give back. So yeah, right up until where I am now, I'm still modeling, but now I own a brand, a sunglasses brand. I've made that transition of I've been one side of the camera, now I'm the other side, directing and organising shoots, campaigns. And one of the biggest achievements I've got going on right now is building a house with my partner, Melissa Jakes, project managing that with her and the builder. Again, completely new, really challenging, but really rewarding. And yeah, like that's where I'm at so far, mate. So that's a little bit about my past and exactly where I am now.
Amazing, mate. So many snippets to take out of there. As a friend, I've looked on and seen you. Not in a disrespectful way, because I'm older than you. Grow from really, from boy to man. And it's been a real honour to see you. It's nice to see good people do well. So a couple of things that stood out to me there, Leon. Your job when you were working with people with special needs. Autism stood out for me because my daughter Honey's autistic. So of course that holds a special place in my heart. What lesson did you learn from that role, and what did you really take from it? Because it said it gave you a chance to sort of, assess yourself and develop as a human being. How was that?
Yeah, so as far as like really down to what I used to deem as, I just took everything for granted. And now it's just like every day I see something or I come across something, it's a blessing. It really is. It's just like as little as, this is really crazy, but just jumping out my bed and being in a mood or being grumpy that I've got to make my bed. But now I'm like, I'm so blessed that I've got a bed to make. And, and these are what I learned about myself during this role. What I used to find so small and take for granted. These guys used to dream of being able to do many things that I could do and could do with my eyes closed. Some of them have lifetime goals of being able to get on a local bus into the town centre, and helping them build that confidence and achieve that and seeing how much it means to them, really puts everything in a nutshell for me, and it still does. So that's, I learned a lot about myself for that, and never take anything for granted, because what you have right now, someone else is praying for.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. Did you have some emotional moments, Leon?
I did, yeah. When some of them I've got to disconnect from the families for different reasons, some of them opened up to me. Some of them always wanted the connected in a different way to me. So they always wanted my support or me to be around. So leaving that, having to break them relationships sometimes, which I had to in the end, where I had to explain I'm no longer not no longer going to be in your life, but I'm going to have to disconnect from your life. That was an hard time for me and them, which is why I still try to make the effort to pop by and see how they're doing, because it's not nice for anyone to leave the life of someone. If I was to tell any of my friends I'm not going to see you again, or I'm only going to see you once in a blue moon, it'd be an emotional time. So it was for them and it was for me. So there was plenty of emotional times, but maybe and probably that, like, when I had to tell them I've got to move on now and do something else.
I get that, mate. I think it shows a lot about your empathy and the character that you have, that you still make the journey to go back, and you can clearly tell with hearing the tone of your voice, the love and the compassion there that the relationship built. So I believe in who's in your wagon with you. I think that with the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, I'm honoured enough to know your friends, Kev, Maka, Vinny, who's just such a gentleman, and Dan, of course, as well as Melissa, your partner, who's a lovely lady, and you've got such a long-term relationship, and you've got a lovely relationship as well. What's your thoughts on that, Leon, about the people you spend time with, sort of help form who you are and your belief system and your behaviours?
Yeah, definitely. I would like to say I've got a close circle. I'm very open to speaking to new people, but obviously my circle's always been really tight for many years. It's not so much wasted time, but there has been times where I've spent a lot of time with someone that is just not appreciative or not on my level. But I've never been rude in a disrespectful way. But I feel the people that you spend time with and the people that you're around is going to affect your mood and your energy, and more importantly, your ideas, your creative ideas. If you're around creative people, energized people, appreciative people, it's going to reflect onto you. So it has a massive impact on your mood, your behavior, and your business and life.
Yeah, I get you, mate. Yeah, I mean, you don't get greater by being a hater. The more you're negative and the more you look down on things and critique others, you're putting blocks and barriers in the way from the Lord or the universe, whatever it is people believe in, giving you your affirmations, right?
Yeah, exactly that, mate. And I'm a believer of a lot of people say if someone shows hate towards someone, how can you? Why do you give them the time? And for me, for all my years, if anything, I feel sorry for that person. I try to, you know, see that they're going through pain. It's the reason why they're trying to reflect that onto someone else. So more than anything, they need help. They need your time. You need to understand. You need to go past your ego and see a little bit deeper of why they're reflecting and pushing that negativity or hate onto you.
Yeah, I get you. I think it's a good book. I think it was Jim Collins, Ego is the Enemy. I totally believe in that as well. And sometimes if we just rest a little bit, let it sink in, not react straight away. It's actually, if someone says something like, you know, you're this, or critiques you, they're actually transmitting what they think about themselves. It's a mirror. What they're saying is how they actually feel about themselves. You love yourself. They're actually saying that about themselves. You're arrogant. They believe that about themselves, and that's why they're trying to push it to somebody else to get rid of that hate.
Exactly.
I totally believe that.
Yeah, it's pain. Obviously, they're going through pain, you know what I mean? And they're feeling that. And that's their way of trying to deal with it. We all know it's not the right way, but if we're in a much better mindset or better place, we need to take a step back and see the bigger picture and understand or try to feel why they're feeling that way.
Definitely, yeah. And I believe that there's real. Brené Brown, a fantastic author. There's strength in vulnerability. My friend Sarah taught me that. Sometimes in life, just to say, you know what, I'm a little bit insecure about this, or I'm scared when people leave me. I struggle with that, or I'm a bit nervous about going to join this new football club, this new job, or going to this new environment. You've been there, you just explained, we're megastars. But you know, sometimes when you're just vulnerable and say, I'm a bit nervous about this, I don't think I'm good enough, and just be comfortable in that vulnerability. There's growth there, isn't there? There's growth in insecurity and vulnerability, and just embracing it.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's some of that, a quote I always say is, get comfortable feeling uncomfortable, you know, and I'm a big believer that so many times throughout my years, there has been them moments. And obviously a lot of the more I read and the more I learn and the more I connect with the right people, it's learning a lot more about myself. And one being that vulnerability is all boils down to the ego and just dropping your ego for that second. It's not about like I want to be the hard man or the bigger man or the boyo. You know, it's admitting I'm scared here, I'm nervous, and I accept that. And the moment we can, you know, deal and act, it's acceptance first. It's recognizing it, accepting it, and dealing with it. You know, and if you're open to that, hopefully we can go down that path and say that out loud more and show examples of that more. And the younger generation learn from that, because I believe a lot of people learn by seeing, not by being told.
I agree with you completely. Children don't listen to words, they copy actions. I totally believe in that.
Yeah.
That's why work ethic to me, I'll do on my 16, 17. I pride myself on my work ethic. Is it a sacrifice to my children? 100%. Have I made mistakes? Sadly, yes. But you know what, my children, they'll know that I'm a hard worker, and someday they might hate me at certain times when I'm on the phone, I'm doing this. And that's not good, but I hope they know, you know, my dad worked hard for me. Because people do copy actions, I agree with.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? And it's about our kids. You'll have seen loads of things that have gone viral where adults have done something and the kids can't even speak, but they'll copy. You know, so there's no point drilling something into someone when you're not doing it yourself. You know, you can't expect them to be following something when you don't follow something yourself, which is why I'm very careful and I do look into who I'm learning off and who I'm growing with.
Yeah, it's brilliant, mate. I totally agree with you, and it's really refreshing for someone like yourself to be more open. Can I ask a personal question?
Yeah, of course.
Because I see Leon Scott, and clearly, you know, you've been blessed with his amazing looks, and you work so hard in the gym, and you're working on yourself behind the scenes as well. Do you? Because to look at me, I would look at you and think, God, like, he's got a lovely girlfriend. He's a male model. Like, he's actually a male model. He's played a high level of professional football. He's achieved a lot in his life, and I'm so happy for you doing that because you're my friend, and I'm proud of you. Do you still suffer insecurities then? Do you have still moments where you think, I'm a bit nervous here? And does that still stay?
Yeah, of course. Like I say, now I sort of thrive off them moments, but I do know that they affect me sometimes around my partner, Melissa, my family. If I've got a moment coming up or a time coming up or a shoot coming up where I am nervous about it, I still do get nervous, even football to this day. But the only way I've learned to deal with them in terms of the only way I can get around them and make me feel better is preparing more for them. The more I learn and the more I prepare and get ready, the less insecure or the less vulnerable I feel. But if I'm not feeling them moments, I do also get frustrated because I believe I'm not testing myself.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
So the
It's really
moment,
intriguing. So no matter what level we go or what we achieve in life, we're still human beings, and we always have that little bit of insecurity, that little bit of a vulnerability, and it goes with us. So we've started about your reading there. What type of books do you read to self-develop?
so I've read quite a few. It's like I first started with a meditation book, How to Solve Human Problems. You know, that was a big one for me. I meditate a lot with, I'm currently doing them online at the minute. I did want to go to a meditation camp, but obviously we can't at the minute, but that's massive for me. What else have I read? What the books are, trying to remember all the books off the top of my head, mate. So
And The Secret?
The Secret was one. That was audio. I actually listened to that
Yeah, me
first,
too.
more than
Me
that.
too.
And then there was the Chim Paradox, obviously
Good.
the computer. That was another one.
Yeah.
Motivation Manifesto, Harley Performance
Yeah.
Habits, two
Good.
Brendan's books.
Yeah.
Quite a few, mate, and I'm always obviously looking to read more recent. Jay Shetty,
Yeah,
the
it's good.
monk. So
The Monk, yeah, is good. Yeah.
yeah,
So I read.
there's a lot there, mate. Like I say, it's all different areas. My first part of reading was more about the mindset with the meditation and going down that route, and then obviously developing into the business side of things, all that side. So yeah, I enjoy reading, mate, and it's something that I never thought I would do because I wasn't being honest, the brightest at school, and my attention, I'd lose it instantly. But if I find it's something that's improving me on self-development and I find it interesting, I want to know more. I'm always asking questions now to learn and develop. Whereas in school, I wouldn't really want to ask questions because sometimes it was seen as weak, as if he didn't know, he doesn't know it. Well, you don't know, which is the reason you ask him, but it's a sign of weakness. Sometimes that's what I used to think. But now I encourage the younger generation and my brother to ask questions. If you don't know, there's nothing wrong with ask a question. If anything, the person that's teaching or passing on to you will connect more with you and appreciate more with you. That you're saying, I don't understand what you're saying here. Tell me more, break it down so I can take it away.
Yeah. Again, it's another form of vulnerability there, isn't it? To say, look, I need a bit of help and support you. And I think at school, I was the same. We could both kick a ball about a little bit, not I wasn't at your level, and there's other friends who know have gone and done amazing things, and I'm so happy for them. Because of that alpha, that ego is there, and I don't need this, I don't need to learn that. But actually, they know the 6 inches between your ears is the most important muscle that we actually have, and it's so much more powerful, God, than any ability you've got physically. It's unbelievable. What's the biggest lesson you've took from reading? What's your favourite book?
My favourite book was probably the Motivation Manifesto. My first ever, that was that, and How to Solve a Human Problems, 7 Human Problems. So probably them, and probably more, like I said, I think that's where the gratitude came from, mate, realising with inside these books and always knowing that, we're always in control of like what we do in terms of our reactions or what being able to slow down a moment within that. And knowing that there's two sides to what we do, which is the Chim Paradox, it was just blew my mind sometimes when I was reading it, and as I was going on, I'd be making assumptions of like things going on. But then now I know that's another side to my mindset talking to me. If I can control that and calm that down and see it from a different perspective and slow things down, I'll get a better understanding and a bigger picture of everything.
Yeah, he's from Middlesbrough, the author, Steve Peters. Yeah, yes, yeah. Dr. Steve Peters. Roy Keane's favourite book. Yeah, brilliant. My book was, I like The Alchemist, that's my favourite book of all time. The audio book was just, Jeremy Irons read it, it's just an engaging story. I read The Secret first of all, and I genuinely believe in the law of attraction, which gratitude, like you've just said there, plays a massive part in. We'll touch on gratitude before speaking about the law of attraction. It's the key to everything. It's the key to feeling better, it's the key to making others feel better, to have an appreciation. It's key to the universe or the Lord, whatever it is people believe in, that's totally fine. The Lord, by the way, Jesus loves gratitude. That's one thing Jesus loves is gratitude. Or the universe says, no, we'll give you more of what you're asking for. How would you practice your gratitude? Because it's something that you've said repeatedly, and I know that you're very big on. Yeah,
so morning and night I practice my gratitude, or anytime I'm feeling low or anytime I'm feeling the world's against me, and we all have these moments, when nothing goes right for me, poor old me. So that for me, that's it. That's telling me to take a step back, Leon. Take 5 minutes to yourself and practice your gratitude in terms of see a different perspective, see things for what they are, accept things for what they are, write them down on physical paper before I go to bed. Sometimes I'll find I'm repeating myself that I can be able to actually sit in bed and write something down, and it makes me smile, you know what I mean? And seeing these and appreciating these continuously over and over again, which is why when I do rub shoulders with big sports stars or travel the world, that type of thing just blows my mind. I'm just like, this is crazy, you know? So anytime I'm feeling really low, I know that's my time to practice gratitude and reflect.
Yeah.
But repetitively, morning and night, the minute I wake up, I'll write 5 to 10 things down. The minute 5-10 minutes before I go to bed, while I'm in bed, I'll write them down. And that's a little bit like my journal. So if I need to reflect and look back at them, I'll have a quick flick at them and realize that everything really is all right. Life is good. And I'm very grateful for everything that I've got.
God bless, brother. I love it. So a couple of things we picked up on there, if you don't mind. So just to do a post-mortem on what you just delivered, because I love it. Like, gratitude first and foremost for me. The first thing I do in the morning, the last thing at night is drop to my knees and say, thank you, Lord. And you don't have to believe in Jesus or the universe. People have got their own belief system, and I totally respect that. But first of all, I think gratitude adds an element of humility. You know, drop your knees and say, no, the sun doesn't just shine for me. So what I've got, I'm grateful for. Mm-hmm. And ambitions are really, it's unique because you can be grateful but not satisfied. You know, yeah. you got to have your affirmations. I am, I have, as if they're already here. But you've got to say thank you for what you've got. To drop to your knees first thing in the morning, or for you to write it down and jot it down, which a good friend of mine, Sean Hope, does. Again, it's a form of humility, isn't it? It's actually showing, you know what? I'm not really big bollocks. Like, thank you for letting me be alive. Thank you for Melissa in your case. Thank you for my children.
Yes.
Because there's so much to be fucking grateful for. And that's important during lockdown, mate, because there's so much to be negative about and worry about.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you said about perspective. Now, I believe in perspective. If we're looking at each other right now, we call it the 6-9 BDQ. That means if I can see a 6 and you can see a 9, and I'm saying, mate, listen, I love you a bit, but that's a 6. Mm-hmm. You're saying to 9, I'm saying to B. But if I can just take the time to come round to your way of thinking, I'll go, fucking hell. I can understand why you think that. Please, mate, come round here. Perspective is everything. Because like you say, your bad day might be someone's absolute dream or vision. Like, the people, God bless them, you looked after who had vision to get on a bus and go to town. I mean, fuck me, who are we at the moment? It's snow.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. And that's one of the massive things that I do look into and do follow. You know, I always try to take that step back and see it from a different perspective. And being able to do that, it is life-changing, mate. And it is, you know, if someone's got a disagreement with you, they've got a reason for the disagreement. Try to see it. You don't necessarily have to agree with it, but try to see it, you know, see where they're coming from and see what they're trying to explain, instead of just having this fogged mindset or closed mindset and just believing that your way is the only way. When it's not, it might feel like it for you in terms of business or growth or that idea right now. But being open with an open mindset could open 10 different doors or ideas of where you didn't even believe or think anything was going.
Totally agree with you, because we usually act on an emotion. And emotion, the two words attached to emotions are wave and rush. Well, waves and rushes are ups and downs that go straight away. So sometimes if someone says to you, I feel this way because, and we're all the worst in the world, the best that we can do is actually let them talk, not jump in.
Yeah.
Let them jump in. You're great, like, you're a great listener. You're a very good conversationalist. And I think sometimes we can just say, right, I've listened to you. Can I just let it sleep tonight? Let me come back to you tomorrow. I want to sleep and see how I feel in the morning, because I don't want to do it on a rush or a wave of emotion, because that's not good. We never make decisions in anger, because that's a bad call. And let's speak tomorrow, because ultimately, like for me, like law of attraction being a big one, which we're going to touch on next. And insurance, life insurance. Somebody had to say, oh, I don't need that. And I'd be like, no, you do. But really, that's their opinion. No problems. I respect what you say. I've got these feelings. No problem, mate. We're still cool. And when you get to the point where you say, I don't believe in the law of attraction, you can't just ask for somebody that comes. No problem. That's fine. I totally respect what you said. And people try and engage me now going, fucking full of shit. That doesn't work. Okay, so I close my eyes, ask for $1 million to just come. And I used to be, well, no. And I had to explain it. And now I'm just cool. That's no problem. You don't need to believe it. It's not these are my visions and my beliefs. They're exclusive to me.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, mate? Trying to resonate with other people, trying to convince them your way of thinking?
No, I agree with everything that you've said there. You know, it's my beliefs or my vision or my ideas. I do put them out and put them across with the people that I want to. And if they don't believe them, that's their choice not to believe them. I can't make them believe them. I can't force them. What I will do is I'll continue, you know, lead by example. And I've seen it happen over the years. If I've said, this works, do this, this works. No, it's not. All right, no problem. I'll do it. Year later, 6 months later, oh, how did you do that? I told you 6 months ago, this is how we do it. You know, so I believe, again, it goes back to the conversation earlier, leading by example, by showing, not by telling, you know what I mean? So massive believer of that, but you can't force something onto someone when they're not ready. But at the same time, I'm a big believer of listening to someone or what they've got to say on their side, but also not firing something back. If you've not got the wisdom on that, don't think that you can answer that. You know, by answering it with something that's not right could cause further damage. You know, so there's also nothing wrong with saying at that moment in time, you know what, I might not be the person for this, but we can pull this in or that in. Should we go there? Should we do that? You know, and again, that's again letting go of the ego instead of thinking, oh, Lee, I can help you with that. I'm just making something up, thinking you're helping. And in fact, you're actually making the situation worse.
I get you. I totally get you, mate. It's so interesting to listen to you. So it's all about the law of attraction. I genuinely believe in life, and I say it repeatedly. We are our words, we are our habits, and we are our thoughts. Thoughts become things, and our words is our wand. I think every single moment, you know, has been born from the words previously. It's our words is pregnant with the next moment. What's your thoughts on law of attraction? Is it something you believe in?
It's definitely something I believe in, but it's definitely something, you know, and you need to put actions to the thoughts. Like,
yeah.
I know you touched upon the area, oh, think of £1 million and it's just there. You know, it doesn't happen like that. We all know we wish it did, but it doesn't happen like that. So you've got to put actions to these thoughts, and there will be as daft as it sounds, I've read a lot and seen a lot of Conor McGregor's massive on this, and it is people laugh at it, but you've got to really find it. And really, a lot of the things I did visualize, just on it, just obviously before we were connecting earlier, me and Lee were in a real good conversation, and my computer actually went off, and I just wanted to mention it now I'm back on. Is the first thing that I got was a message from Lee saying, is everything okay? You okay? And for me, that goes back to some of the conversations that we had earlier, being able to control that instead of getting aggressive or angry with what's just happened. His first thought was a bit of a love and compassion that I'm okay with what's just happened. You know what I mean? And a lot of people fail to recognize that. And if someone is late to an appointment, instead of finding out why they're late, if something happened, is that person okay? They're late for a reason. Is everything okay? And showing that love and compassion first, and then understanding why they're late, is a complete game changer for me, instead of getting aggressive, firstly with yourself of what's just happened, of something you control. Secondly, with someone who you don't know what's going on right now, why that situation's occurred. So I just wanted to mention that, mate, and a lot of respect for that, for you to be able to bring that into play of something, you know, that was out of our control, that went off.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. It's so deep. And you know what? It's really food for thought as well, because that's not always been the case today. It's been quite a testing day. But we'll touch on winning and learning a bit, because it's a big part of my life. So thank you for that. Give me real food for thought there, because you're right. Some of the things I've thrown off the handle with today, and fucking amazing. Really just trivial things that I can grow from and learn from, you know? So thank you for that. We were touching on law of attraction before we lost connection there. And you said law of attraction means nothing without action. Couldn't agree more. Again, the one that always gets shot at me is, okay, so if I close my eyes and go £1 million, it's going to drop my hand. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Matches don't strike themselves. You've got to go and take some action upon it to get the fire. Same with the law of attraction, same with manifestation. What's your thoughts with law of attraction, please, Leo?
Yeah, so I'm a believer of that as well, mate. But like I say, we touched up on it earlier. You've got to visualize things, which I do every day. I visualize what I want to achieve, where I want to go. But then I ask myself, what am I doing to get there? You know, your podcast, Little Bricks. What's the first brick I've laid to get there? I'm not thinking the bigger picture, £1 million house, all this, all that. mum free mortgage, nana, everything. That's the end goal, the big picture. But what am I doing each day to put that first brick down, that foundation down, and then the next one, while still visualizing this every single day of that end goal? And the end goal will always change. The closer you get to it, it might be a different goal. So for me, it's never an end goal. Is always, the bricks always change. Whether the foundation's always there, we're still going to build that platform higher while visualizing what we want to achieve long term.
Unbelievable, mate. I love it. So Elon Musk stands out for me there. Dream big. Always dream big. Scary fucking dreams that make you feel like anxious and sick. But aim low.
Yeah.
Aim low. So Elon Musk, I think a tweet went out and said he's the richest man in the world. And he replied, I'd be seeing it saying, oh, that's nice. Oh, well, back to work. Bang. And that's the mentality of a winner, right? That's a DNA. Be grateful, but never be satisfied, and just keep moving forward constantly.
Well, exactly that, mate. And I think that mindset goes back to my fitness and that career in terms of, you'll have a look at Roseby Topping. I go there quite often, my partner and Vinny, and there's about 100 steps. And I always put people to a test. And it's not a test. I just want to see how they work, and I'll say, we're running up these steps. And 9 times out of 10, the first thing they do is they look to the under step, not that one there. Look there. They say to me, fuck off, mate. And that's like, in hindsight, in reality, what a lot of people do, they look there and get scared. So they don't do that first step. So which is why I always say, just keep focused on that one step. Once you get there, then the next, and before you know it, you'll be on that top step. But that top step will then change. There'll be another 100 above that.
100%.
So it's taking that first step and not getting distracted too far ahead. Yes, have a glance, get scared, but then get your head back down and keep stepping forward.
I fucking love it. It's unbelievable, mate. It's such a real example, and I encourage anybody in the Teesside area to go to our beautiful beauty spot, Rosebery Topping, and try that out. I know I'm never going to do that now, mate. I'm thinking you want a screenshot and WhatsApp it over to you, mate. Thank you for that. Brilliant. Okay, so we'll talk about your fitness now, Leo, because I remember Leo, working behind the bar tall trees as a young teenager, quality, you looked after the boys, brilliant. And then you come into the Northern League at such a young age in a fantastic Peak Elite team. With young Marker, our mate Barney, all the great lads, fantastic group of lads. I bet that was a good time in your life, that one. I'm saying it and you're smiling back at me. Yeah,
it was good, mate. There were local lads there. Again, when I first joined I was a youngster and it was going into a man's league. Northern League was a rough league. And I was very skinny. So I had to train. I had to put a bit of size on so I didn't get pushed about and bullied. But yeah, they toughened me up in that side of the football sense. So yeah, there were good times there, especially with the local lads. You mentioned Macca, Chrissy Ems, Marco Byrne, you know what I mean? They're all lads from around this area that we used to travel together and have a good time with, mate. So yeah, they were good times.
Good memories, good memories. Before we go on to Darlington, because I know it's a special place in your heart, Darlington, the relation you've got with the fans there is very special and unique. Mm-hmm. Your fitness, it's I believe that we've been given basic talent. The rest of it comes down to work ethic and application and dedication and consistency.
Yeah.
Is there a great example of that than fitness? And how hard do you have to work, Leo, to maintain the shape and the condition that you keep for your work and your career? Mm-hmm. And how much, what's this? A lot of people always say in this one, what are you willing to do to be successful? I think it's what you're willing not to do to be successful. That's what separates good to great. How hard is it to maintain that consistency?
For me, it's a way of life now. And in terms of art, the only time it's hard is the time when I'm in that moment and I'm training. You know what I mean? I'm testing my body mentally, physically, whether I have to go out in that cold and do it. That's the first step. So just in that moment, it's hard. But overall, for me now, it's a way of life. It's a lifestyle because I've now adapted that. The harder for me is not doing it. So if I don't do that, that's hard for me because I'm not doing what makes me feel good and has benefits on me, but not only me, the people around me. If I'm not doing what I know is good in terms of working out, testing my body, testing my mindset, I then become moody and aggressive and not a nice person to be around, and I know this. So it's, in terms of how hard is it, now I've got it, and it's more about keeping it. And there's moments when I do need to really push beyond, when I might have a shoot for men's health. Then I need to take my body and my mindset in different areas. So I might need to know, we touched upon it slightly there, disconnect from things for that moment in time, to concentrate on that moment, what's important. And I do, is something that I'm looking into more each day as it goes on, is this word balance. A lot of people say life balance, this balance. And I'm starting to believe at some point that's just a myth. In terms of the reason I say it, and how I can try and back it up, is if you've got a goal and a vision of something that you want to achieve, I believe sometimes you need to go all in, which does mean, unfortunately, you need to neglect one or two things for that moment in time. But recognize that, and having the right people around you is what we spoke about earlier, to say to them, look, I'm going for this. If I'm going for it, I'm going all in. So this might take a bit of a back burner right now. This might get neglected for a short period of time. But when I achieve that, I'll reconnect with myself and focus. Maybe that's the balance. When you've achieved that, being able to then recognize, right, I've hit that. Now what? Now I can balance and see where we are. But in terms of being good at this, doing that all evenly, I find that quite hard to be able to do that, especially if you want to achieve something that's going to give you real self-satisfaction, instead of just touching it and being like, oh, that's good. When I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. So I feel like I've got to go all in on that moment, or on that certain subject that I'm doing.
Yeah, I get you. So I think their balance is a couple of things I've took from that. I absolutely agree. As I get a bit older, especially being a father, the balance part I've got wrong at times. Sadly, I'm fucking heartbroken to say, because you miss out on things. Mm-hmm. But we live in a world of duality, and everything has a cost. You want to be a good relationship, you want to be happy in a relationship, you've got to sacrifice nights out, you've got to sacrifice Tinder. Okay. If you want success, well, you've got to put the hours in, which means you've got to sacrifice Netflix, you've got to sacrifice nights out. You want to be in good shape, you've got to sacrifice eating chocolate and palm muffs like that, or whatever it may be. So everything has a cost. The balance thing can be quite, so I can understand, but then again, some of them costs are not worth it, because your children time, that's got to be priority. So I can agree. I totally get what you said. The children ones where I'm thinking, I've made mistakes there. The balance thing will work. I think people have been telling me for 10 years, you're going to burn out. Fucking picture of health, mate. I've never had more energy in my life. I'm getting older and I get more energetic as I go. And I genuinely think I can do 24 hours a day. And I think that's a mindset thing. I think other people tell us, you're going to calm down, you're going to burn out. I don't believe in it. I think burnout's a fucking myth.
Yeah.
I totally think it's a myth. I do not believe it for 1 minute. When you look at ex-sports stars, you Sugar Ray Robinson, 160 fights, football, lads used to play like 60 games a season, not written 90 minutes a game. There's no rotating, there's no rest. I know the game's changed, by the way, but do you understand what I'm saying? Like, Elon Musk still sleeps on his office floor. It's not burning out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But also, I like to what I call my 10 life rules. I do like to check back in with myself in terms of, see what really is important. Because like you touched upon it there slightly with your family and that.
Yeah.
Moments that I, for anyone watching, I don't have kids at the minute, but as moments that I would like to connect with my kids or my family, and I believe them are important moments, as well as driving the business and doing that. So at the moment, I've got like a little bit of a checklist where I do look over. It's like categories of like my business, my spirituality, my health, my fitness, emotional, and I mark myself in these areas of a 1 to 10. Then I can see what areas I've been neglecting in my life. So it's all about, connecting and reflecting. And sometimes the years, like my partner, Melissa, I might not see her for 3 or 4 nights because I'm going that hard on my business or that hard in my fitness. And, and she gets upset. So I've got to understand, like, it's not all about me. Sometimes, my thoughts and feelings do affect other people. And these are the people that I love. So yeah, I do. I'm a massive believer. I'm similar, probably attitude to yourself. I'll go for days. I'll go to the gym for 10 hours. I'll work on a project for 10 hours. But sometimes it's not about me. You know what I mean? It's about the people. I've got to bear in mind and bring the interest of the people around me and who I love. You know, and that does have a reflect on me. Then I can get back to that as long as I'm connected with that. I get back to that with a more peaceful and creative attitude.
Yeah, I like that, mate. You're right. I totally resonate with what you said. So your football, you went into Darlington. What was that time like period like? Because it was such a love for the club, but then out of nowhere, it was just a fantastic time. I guess it was a real authentic time for the fans, which I know a lot of fans there, and they actually enjoyed that time period more than being in the league. And you were sort of like what I think Damien Hughes calls a cultural architect upon that. You're one of the people that was built around. Mm-hmm. What was that period like in your life, Leon?
Darlington was my best playing football time of my life, and the most I've ever been part of a team as close as a family. In fact, I would call it a family. The full, not just even, you'll know yourself when you go to a team, you have 3 or 4 lads and another 3 or 4. This was the old 15 or 16 lads, including management. To this day, we're all still in a WhatsApp group together, and that's how close we were. So it was the best time football of my life. I remember being approached by Martin Gray, who I'm still very close with now, and he had to rebuild the club from when the club went into administration. And I think I was his 3rd signing. We met at the Bluebell, and he just said to me, "I'm going to win the Northern League." And I remember looking at him and thinking, I like that, but that's a bit ambitious. You've only got 3 players. That same year, we went unbeaten and won the Northern League. Mm. And his whole ethos behind everything was, I have learned a lot of, man, is, team building, team character, one goes to war, we all go to war. And that's a belief we all had, and like I say, it was just the best football times of my life. And I just used to love going to football, whether it was sunshine, rain or snow, with the crowd behind you as well. It was just unbelievable times, man.
Good fans.
Very good fans, yeah. Good fans, but also can get on the other side as well, like all fans. But that was the beauty of it, being able to go to a non-league club and have 800 to 1,500 fans singing songs of me, singing my name in songs was just, again, a very good experience, mate. Very good.
Lovely. And then the modelling, Leon. So, again, I've been over to Teesside Park with my daughter, Honey, and I've said, "That's your dad's mate, that?" And she's like, "Yeah, whatever." I'm like, it's your dad's mate, I'm telling you now. That's my mate, Leon. And then some of the girls in the office, she says, "My pal," and they go, "Fuck, you don't know him." I'm like, "No, he's my pal. He's a lad's lad, Yeah. So we've discussed in private, before. I think you get a lot of people get a misconception of you because you're Leon. And I'm like, it's just a lad. He has a crack. He'll wind you up. He'll have a band at back, and it's just a nice guy. Uh-huh. No. No, it is. So the misconception of you because of the way you look and your career path. But what's the modelling career been like, Leon? Because it's not. It's not even a 1 in 10 career. It must be a 1 in 1,000 career. What's it like? And what type of experience has given you? And what have you learned from it as a human being?
Experiences it's given me, and I've been able to, I'm very fortunate to travel the world, see a lot of places that maybe someone from my background or area has never been able to see and won't be able to see for whatever reason. So being able to do things like I said, go to New York, go to LA, Dubai, Vegas, Ibiza, these places, and fly as in far as business class, I'm just like, wow. And while still getting paid for these, and just connecting with a lot of like-minded people, but they also is people that, not appreciative of what they're doing at that moment, which sometimes annoyed me, but we touched on it earlier. You can't change their behavior or how they're coming across. So yeah, it's just being able to see the world, mate, in a different way and a different perspective. And while seeing that, I've learned a lot about myself when I can bring it back to my hometown and hopefully show that, it's possible for anyone. For me, your behavior and your attitude, as much as I do know, obviously my looks brought me in, a lot of my jobs I came back because I expressed a good attitude, good manners. I was always helpful. I believe I came, and I hope I did, which is why I completely I always get called back for jobs. Was my attitude and my behavior, mate.
Yeah, I get that.
Every job that I got, whether it was working with Nike or whether it was working with a local brand, they were both massive to me. But you don't see the other side. There's other sides, where you're on the road a lot by yourself, and it can get lonely. Getting up at 5 o'clock to get a train to London to work at 9, finishing at 6, getting home at 10. So they are long days, but people only see the end image, that glamorous picture that gets blew up in a shot.
And you met Conor McGregor?
Yeah, I met Conor McGregor, mate. That was a bit of a bizarre experience while I was working for a brand called Hera London, mate. The first time, I've met him twice now, but the first time we flew out, the brand owner, myself and the brand owner, we flew out to Ireland to meet him. And it was to discuss a deal of him wearing the clothing. And I just remember him coming outside the gym with his friends, and he was just smoking one of them pipe things. And he would just come over to us, mate, and just like high-fived us, started chatting us, asking how the flight was. And he was just stood like a lad from a local area with his hood up, his socks tucked in and to his trousers. And he was just sat on the wall talking to us. And it was not long before his fight with Mayweather. And we were thinking, I was like, that's Conor McGregor. It's not like one of the boys. That's Conor McGregor.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? And then we become sort of friends from there. Not friends as in friends, but when he did go and fight in Vegas and that, we become friends with his friends who then invited us back to after parties, and we were sat on his table in the booth. And there's videos on my Instagram and socials where we just sat talking. So things like I've got like loads of local people going, I've just seen you with McGregor, I've just seen you. And I'm just like, oh, really? Yeah, it's McGregor. So just being around people like that, mate, it's just, I did pinch myself a few times.
Yeah, amazing, mate. And I'm happy for you because you see Conor McGregor there, so we've got contrasting stories. Because I sports winner in Vegas, but I was in a dark place at the time, and I was abusing my body with the drink and the drugs. I was in a dark place at that time. And sadly, that experience was lost on me. So for my friend to have a fantastic experience and go actually meet the person that I went there to watch, it's phenomenal, mate, and I'm happy for you. Fucking brilliant. Contrasting stories and decision-making, right? My decisions were bad. Your decisions were good, and that's what you get for good decision-making. So I take a lot of inspiration from him. Even now, it was like last week for me, it was sort of like, sometimes you just go too long. You can't be Father Time, and sometimes you can be away from something for so long and you abuse your body. And we won't get into the bit why he lost. Mm-hmm. We've all got an opinion on that one. But the journey of him coming through, myself and Nathan Steele, is just a fantastic human being. Was really replicant of me coming through the ranks in financial services, underdog, taking on big boys, being fearless, getting the law of attraction, speaking things into existence. Mm-hmm. It was a massive part of my life, Conor McGregor. Do you take a lot of inspiration from him also?
Massive, mate. For me, we spoke about earlier, you've just touched upon it earlier, the visualization, the law of attraction. For what I was always skeptical or nervous about speaking your thoughts into existence, and I took that from him, and that it exposes you in terms of, we no matter what, every single person will have a dream or belief of what they want to do. The moment you let it out to whether it's your family, your public, the pressure's on now. You're like, now I'm going to step up to it because now everyone knows I want to get abs or I want to do this, I want to do that. So I used to have dreams and visions, but what I took massive from Con is he spoke it and he delivered it. You know what I mean? And the minute you speak it out loud to everyone, now you've got to put that action into place. You've got to, otherwise you didn't you say you were going to do this, Lee? You're like, yeah. And then you start to not live up to what you say. So that's what I took massive from him. And, like I say, his visualization when he drove his Fiesta into the gym and he used to visualize him driving a Lambo and things like that. But putting his thoughts into action, which we touched upon it earlier, you can have them visualizations, but what are you doing that someone else is, what are you doing that no one else is doing that's going to make you get that way where they're not? Totally
agree, mate. I totally agree with you. Speaking things into existence, there's a reason you put it out there and you've then got to commit to it because you've got to put the action and then behind it because you look like a twonk if you don't. I believe on the other side as well, I genuinely believe that the universe is listening to every single word. So, for example, I believe in affirmations and dream boards and vision boards. And people say all the time, I want to be debt-free. And I'm like, fucking don't say that D word. The minute you say debt, you're going to get delivered debt to you. That makes sense. So I don't want to be unhappy no more.
Yeah.
Don't say words like unhappy and debt, which will lead us to the next part, which is Conor McGregor's coach, John Kavanagh. At the end of each day bespoke where I work, and I work with some of the greatest people in the world, and I'm so grateful for that. Loyal, decent, respectful, kind, live out 5 core values. God bless, I'm the luckiest man alive. So he brought out a book called Win or Learn. Now, he says win or learn because language is powerful. You never ever lose, you learn. We never get beat. It's a great learning experience. And I think that the losses are sometimes more important than the wins. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tell us a life.
Massively,
Tell us
that
about life,
reflects-
Leon, whether it be your relationship, which we're going to finish off with, please, if that's okay. Tell us times when you've won in life, and tell us times when you've learned and you thought, fuck, that wasn't good, that. So for me, straight away, drugs, drink, drugs, they were bad calls, and I learned that. That brings out a demon in me that I never want my children to ever experience again. God bless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so on that, obviously the first thing that I thought of there in terms of my footballing career, some of my biggest lessons have been when we've been beat. I remember when we were away and we got beat 1-0 in the last minute. It was at that moment in time, it felt horrible. The lads were beat up. Martin didn't have much to say. It was quiet on the way home, and it just wasn't a nice experience at that time. But within about 2 or 3 weeks later, we were playing that same team in the playoffs, and the whole team plus myself, I've never seen us so pumped up for that, because of them feelings and emotions that last one brought. And if you were to pick which one you'd want to win, obviously the playoffs, and we did win them playoffs 2-0, so then 2 short spaces of time, what felt really depressing and we built so much together, team character, belief. We got to do this. We're going to do this, and use that defeat to our best advantage, and went and won that game. So yeah, that for me, sometimes it's hard to take what's at that moment in time may feel like a loss or a defeat or not something that you didn't want. It's trying to take what can you learn from that to adapt and to apply to the next situation in life.
Totally get you. I think a bit like going to the gym, right? Because you go to the gym, you essentially tear or damage your muscles for it to regrow back even stronger. And that's what happens with pain, and that's what can happen with vulnerability and things that hurt us. We can regrow stronger if we learn to live with the vulnerability and bounce back. So your relationship with Melissa. Melissa's a lovely girl.
It's recognized.
Again, sorry. Did you go first?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's recognizing that we it's recognizing that we need that moment or that defeat or that pain to grow. Without them, we're never going to grow. You know what I mean? So I'm always blessed when I'm faced with a challenge or a difficult time, because that's coming to me because I need it, because that's the time for me to see the bigger picture and grow with it and accept it and learn with it. It's not why me. It's I'm blessed. This is me. You know what I mean? I'm happy. This is happening to me. And it's just accepting it and taking that moment and that time to grow with it.
Totally agree. I think you got to get rid of them why me people. Get them motherfuckers gone, because they're just going to drag you down and move you, and you're going to pick up their bad habits. It's not healthy at all. So we're going to move on to still there?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, mate. So we're going to move on to Melissa now. Just finish off with, because I've been fascinated with the conversation, mate, and I hope people really watch us and go, fucking, he's not just a good-looking bugger, he's a really interesting fella, he's a nice man, which you are. Melissa, for me, is, I believe all ships need an anchor, right? And I think that without anchors, ships float out to sea and sometimes get lost and crash and sink. We all got an anchor, and I'm fascinated with the longevity of your relationship. I've spoken to Melissa probably once or twice through yourself. We've got some mutual friends, but she's widely recognised as a really good person, a very, very good influence on yourself. And you can clearly see how much you're in love with each other. It's so nice. What affects Melissa on your life in general, and how important is she to Leo?
She's massive to me, mate, Melissa. We've been together 17 years, so you could say we've been through everything, although we've still got a lot more to go through and experience and be together through. But yeah, with Melissa, I would go as far as saying I wouldn't be as successful or as far as I am right now in life. She's learned me a lot about life. One being love and expressing love. My family, Council Estate Lad, we've never really shown love in terms of a cuddle or actually saying I love you to my brother or to my sister. It's very, oh no, bro, fist pump. You know what I mean? So Melissa's shown me that side of, you know, is okay for a lad to say, gives a cuddle, bro. You know what I mean? And expressing that love and showing that weakness is okay. And so she's probably my shoulder that I cry on when I need to cry on. So to get that out and someone at the side of me to be able to speak to and not be the hero all the time, you know, I think it's very important that I've got that in my life, and I'm grateful that Melissa is in my life, and to be able to give me that and be around me through the hard times and the good times.
Superb, brother. Listen, lovely words from a lovely gentleman. Where can we find the sunglasses business? What's next for Leon? How can we catch up on what you're doing, brother?
Yeah, so you can find me on my Instagram if obviously you find me interesting or you want to learn more. I have an Instagram, it's Leon Free Scott. Obviously, I push a lot of fitness on a fitness channel on a daily basis. We've got meditation classes, yoga classes, fitness classes. These are all free classes across my Instagram. I own a sunglasses brand, so you'll see me in the summer with some sunglasses on. I'll send you some, bro. And again, we're currently building the house, so it'd be good to share that journey with you. And again, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening, and I appreciate you for letting me come on and speak to you, mate. God
bless. We must do this again, mate. So much more we can talk about.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I'm up for that.
Yeah, God bless. Listen, what an episode. Speaking to Leon there, he's a gentleman. He's got really old-fashioned values. Council estate lad, embracing vulnerability. Someone which you look at Leon, you think he'd never have that pain, nerves, the power of visualization, re-educate himself, understanding that it's not all about himself. And of course, gratitude, which is a big thing for him. So, Leon, I'm blown away. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining the Little Bricks podcast. Thank you.
Thank you very much, mate. Speak soon.
God bless. Take care, brother. Bye-bye.